Hey guys, Cactar here. I've got a deck of the month for November. It's what we call Gravekeepers in the Fifth Dimension. It's a Garniatos type control deck that runs Gravekeepers in it. It actually won at our I got second place at our locals, went 3-1. So yeah, it's a pretty fun deck actually, and it has a lot of win conditions, which is kind of nice. You don't have to rely on one thing to win you a duel. So let's get started. I'm gonna go kind of fast because yeah, some of these cards pretty much explain themselves. 3 Garniatos. This is a removal deck, so you control your graveyard really well in this deck. So Garniatos is pretty much a free summon as long as you don't have a monster in your graveyard, and she's 2500 beat stick, so that's nice. 3 Caius. He's one of your win conditions along with Garniatos. He explains himself. He's removal, does a little burn damage if it removes a dark monster, and yeah, he's 2400, and he's really easy to get off in this deck because you run triple survivor, which is the next card, 3DD survivor. He explains himself. He's a macro deck. This is a macro deck. 1800 beater and unlimited tribute fodder and synchro fodder. So yeah. 3 Gravekeeper spies. This is the Gravekeeper part. So spies 2000 wall, 2500 with Necro Valley on the field. So it's really good. You also run 2 Descendants with it. A lot of people really question running 2 Descendants. Most people would run 1 in this kind of deck or a Flame Bell deck. My brother likes 2 because I don't know, he can be 2000 and all that stuff. Even though guard is a good choice, but you know, it's just based on his personal preference, so that's why he runs 2. Double Cyber Dragon. He's Cyber Dragon, 2100 beater. Yeah, I don't really have to explain more than that. Chimera attack 2 if you play machines. 1 Gale, best tuner in the game in my opinion. Well, one of them anyway. He shrinks, 3-star tuner, really nice. 2 Battle Fader in case you open up dead and you don't get OTK'd. This deck does not run Gores because you run continuous stuff, so yeah, it's 2 Battle Fader. And that's it for monsters. I'm going to go on to spells now. You don't really run a lot of spells because it's not really needed. 3-dimensional fissure. It is a macro deck, so you need to run the D-fissures to ensure that you don't get monsters in your graveyard, and it shuts down Lightsworn, x-sabers, and all that stuff. So there you go. 2 Necro Valley in case Dimensional Fissure dies and you don't have macro. This card prevents your opponent from removing stuff from play or targeting cards in the graveyard, but still affects activating the graveyard work. It works against dragons pretty well actually, so which is kind of nice. And your opponent can't Stork or Dad, so yeah. And your Gravekeepers get 500 attack and defense, so Spy turns into a 2500 wall in a sense. 3 Book of Moon. This card really defines the format now. Stops big plays and all that stuff. And now it's really easy to get. And last spell is Dark Hole. He's monster. Yeah, this is monster removal. I really don't have to say anything else. No Monster Reborn because most of your cards end up being removed from play anyway. So yeah. On the traps, double Macrocosmos. Does exactly what D-Fissure does, except the bad thing is that this card can be oppressed, which is yeah. That's it. My brother was actually running 3 in the previous build because he could not draw into macro or D-Fissure. So yeah. 2 Dark Bribe. Third one is cited. Royal Decree really hurts you. So yeah. Most people don't understand why you would run this card instead of run 7 tools. Even if this is a -1, it can end up being a +1 if your opponent dead draws, and you control really well with this deck in my opinion, so that's why the bribes are in here over 7 tools. I'd rather have the 1000 life points, so yeah. Trap Stun. Your opponent can waste MST on 7 tools on this. Doesn't really hurt you too bad, but yeah, it's just in there because it's Trap Stun. It's really good. 1 Ugly Force. Yeah, it's really ugly, not gonna lie. But yeah, it's a staple, along with the Bottomless and the D-Prisons. Those are all staples in the macro deck. And yeah, they're all really good. Sakuretsu Armor. This is like your 4th D-Prison in my opinion, because you run 5 removal, and yeah, and it's CP, so it's nice. And yeah, this is actually really a tech choice, so yeah. And last card's Trenchel, it's a staple. And that's the main deck. I'm going to show the extra deck. Or not extra deck, side deck. You really don't go super into your extra deck. So, and yeah. 2 Banisher, more removal. In case, you don't draw your macro or your defissure in game 1. 3rd Dark Bribe explains itself. 2 MST to blow up back row. Discord, because you don't synchro summon too much in this deck. And people tend to underlook this card. It's not that bad of a card. You only run 1 Tunerang's Gale, and you'll probably only use it once. 2 Starlight Road. Even though this card sucks balls right now, our locals play Black Wings. A lot of players do, so this is why it's in there. Icarus Attack can get annoying, so yeah. 3rd macro. In case you cannot draw into your macros or your defissures if your luck is really bad, like my brother's. So that's why it's in there. 2 Skill Drain, in case you want to side into Skill Drain, into the Drain type of Yados. So yeah. And 3 Barbaros. There's actually a card missing in the side deck, and it's a Forbidden Chalice. We don't have that right now, so yeah. Barbaros, he's just a beater. Skill Drain makes him 3,000. That's the side. It could be improved drastically, so, if you have comments, leave them. And, extra deck, Chimera Attack, run Cyber Dragon. You really don't go into this extra deck too much, except for Starlight. Bryonic, staple. 3 Stardust, 2 Starlight Road, and you can go 8. So yeah, Stardust. 2 Black Rose, in case you need the nuke, and then if you're into disadvantage. Armor Mastery, because you run Gale. Scrap Archfiend, because he's Archfiend, he's big. And you could run Scrap Dragon if you wanted to. So yeah, Scrap Dragon is just amazing. So yeah. That's the deck. This deck is not for sale. I keep forgetting to mention that it's not for sale. And yeah, if you guys have any comments about the deck, please post them below. But don't post that my brother should play Gemini. We actually did try Gemini the first time we built Yados. He hates the deck. It's so inconsistent, and it went 1 in 3 the first time he played it. So it's terrible. It's so terrible, and it's just really bad in my opinion because it's so inconsistent. But yeah, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Deck is not for sale again. And this is Cactar out. Hope you guys enjoy this deck of the month for November. Gravekeeper's in the 5th dimension, and enjoy. Peace out.